Hello, we are Craft Sophisticate.
I'm Josh.
I'm Josh. I'm Justin.
You idiot, you up.
Okay, go
Don't
ahead.
do it, man. My name's Josh.
My name's Justin.
We're Craft Sophisticate. This is the Webcomic Show.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews, and you're watching the Webcomic Show.
Hi, this is David Hurley of Don't Pick the Flowers Webcomic, and you are watching the Webcomic Show.
Webcomic Show!
Everybody, my name is Daniel Barton of GooberandCindy.com, and this is the Webcomic Show, the Fall Edition 2013, and it's a special Christmas edition. I asked all of my guests to answer some special Christmas questions I had. I've interviewed 7 people this time, but before we get to the interviews, I want to talk about my book a little bit. I've been working on a book that's going to have the first 100 strips of GooberandCindy.com in them, and hoping I was going to get finished this year, but that's probably not going to work out. So what I'm going to do is I have 3 extra strips, 3 extra comics that are going in the book that are not going to be available on the internet, only in the book. They're going to be available in the beginning of the fall 2014. At the end of the interviews, I've got the Christmas special, so be sure and watch that.
Webcomic Show!
Twitter is a wonderful place to meet people, and I just so happened to run into a fellow Dutch artist living in the Netherlands like me. This lovely lady, an illustrator, and just might have what it takes to create her own webcomic, Vanja Vanista. Welcome to the Webcomic Show.
Hi, thank you very much.
It seems to be an obvious question, but why did you choose the Twitter account De Rooie Heks?
Yeah, because it's my name, and my brother always calls me a witch, and that's why it all started, and I'm a redhead, so that came kind of obvious, actually.
Excellent. And how long have you been using Twitter?
Since about January, I think. I had a private account previously, but I never used it and never had anything with Twitter, actually. But now I'm getting used to it and getting to use it a lot more.
And what's the reason you use Twitter?
I started actually to have a little bit of contact and see what others do and maybe promote myself a little bit. But by now it more seems that you meet fellow artists, not really clients, but it's okay. I like it to be a little bit more in a community, and yeah.
So I've seen you've been making some toodles. Can you tell me more about your toodles?
Yeah, I came across it, and I'm kind of getting into drawing again. I had a time out, and so I need to warm up a little, and I find it really nice to do, and that's why I started it, and yeah, actually quite a fun, so I hope I keep doing it.
I really like the one with the cat.
Yeah, and the toaster.
Yeah, and the toaster. That was an awesome one. And also, what I also like is the way you draw the Red Witch.
Okay.
Those are 2 of my favorite drawings that you made.
Okay, thank you.
What would it take for you to start a webcomic?
Probably get a little bit more used to inking and kind of stuff. I'm not really doing much of line art, and more the ability to draw fast. I'm kind of slow right now, and yeah, when you make comic, it has to come weekly or monthly, or at least, yeah. And now I think I'm too slow, and yeah, would be too hard.
How would you make it? Would you just like make it by hand, take a photo of it, or would you make it by hand, scan it in, ink it, do it? How would you approach the creating it, or would you use Illustrator?
Yeah, I think Illustrator or Photoshop. Illustrator is kind of, yeah, it's not, yeah, I don't know the English word, but it's too.
So what's the Dutch word? Because I can translate it for you.
Yeah, te strak.
Oh, it's too. Okay, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's too tight. It's not loose enough. It's yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and yeah, that's why I probably use kind of mix of Illustrator, Photoshop, and maybe hand drawn, but probably digitally because it's easier.
So when you look at other webcomics, you like webcomics that are more loose and fluid.
That's funny, actually. I like the more tight ones, but I'm not really. Although that's not really a comic, but you've got cardboard animations, and that's about StarCraft 2. They have a short 1 minute animations, and they're actually almost like a cartoon, but then animated a little bit. And they are so funny, and they're absolutely not tight, and actually they're ugly, but they are so funny because they're ugly. So it's, everything's possible.
You told me before you're a StarCraft fan, right?
Yeah.
How much time have you put into that game?
There were times I played about 3-4 hours a day, and when I'm drawing, I always watch all the tournaments that are going on GSL, everything, all the championships. I need some footage to look at when I'm drawing, so I always have that in the background, and
Awesome. Do you know John Esparza of JohnCrazyStuffBlogspot.com?
Yeah.
You do?
Hard to miss on Twitter.
What?
Hard to miss on Twitter.
Hard to miss on Twitter. He's always on Twitter. I asked him if he had a question for you, and he did.
Oh.
So here it is. He wrote a question from me to you. Who are some of your favorite artists on the web, and who are some of your influences? Smiley face.
Phew, that's hard. On the web, I don't have really... I didn't look a lot on the web, actually, so that's kind of hard. What I mentioned, Carbo Animations, is one that that animations did trigger something in me. Okay, it would be fun to do something geeky and in what kind of form ever. And from not digital, I think the only cartoon I ever really read was Garfield, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah. Because he's grumpy, he loves lasagna, he hates raisins in the cereal, so I hate them too. And he's a redhead, I am. Yeah,
Isn't he?
I feel
Doesn't he
kind
have
of bold
orange
with
hair?
him.
He's kind of orangey, right?
But they told me that the same thing. You're not a redhead, you're orange.
Okay, awesome. You can find Vanja at the Rode Hex or therooiehex.nl. That's DEROOIEHEKS.NL. Vanja, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Webcomic Show!
He is a family man from Scotland, creates a webcomic, does toy reviews, and wrote a book. James Spence, welcome to the Webcomic Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Girls in Space has been running since January 2010. There are currently 5 complete stories with a 6th underway right now. What keeps you motivated?
And what keeps me motivated? I think I have a story in mind for the whole thing. There's going to be basically 12 parts to it, and knowing that I'm at the halfway point is quite exciting, and I'm very motivated to get to the end of the story. So because each chapter is quite different as well, I always feel very motivated to want to draw something different and to try different things out and to just keep experimenting. So yeah, that keeps me motivated.
Do you also listen to music, or do things inspire you? Do other things in your life motivate you?
Yeah, I always have music on while I'm working. Usually just a kind of random playlist, but I quite like working to things like sort of old Genesis and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and things like that. They're always good music to have in the background, very inspirational stuff.
I love your artwork in your comic, and you also create wonderful pinups. Which are more popular?
I've noticed that the pinups get an awful lot more comments at the moment, but I think that's because the series of pinups that I'm doing, I've called them alphabet girls. So I do a different letter of the alphabet for each of the pinups. So, for example, at the moment I'm doing the letter J. So when I did the last one, I asked for some suggestions for something to begin with the letter J. So I've got loads of different suggestions. People saying jumping jacks and Judge Judy and all sorts of different things. As it stands right now, I'm in the middle of drawing Justice. That's what the letter J is going to be. So yeah, it gets quite a lot of comments. The comments on the comic itself tend to be more about how the story's going and people making wee jokes about the page. So I think I get a mix of both, really.
What are some of comics that you've been reading lately?
Well, I read Bunny Wiggins by Jeremy Benedict, which is a great comic, a great guy who draws it. I have been reading a really funny comic called the League of Super Redundant Heroes recently, which always makes me laugh. I can't remember who wrote it, but it will come back to me at some point. Yeah, and of course, Goober and Cindy.
Awesome.
There is no comic quite like it.
Okay, so you wrote a book called Silly Beggar, which was featured on the Richard and Judy TV show and some other media outlets. It's about asking and begging companies for free stuff, which is called blagging. Are you still blagging?
I've not blagged in a while, I have to admit. No, that the book was a lot of fun. I wrote it when I just got married and I didn't really have a lot of spare cash, and I just thought, just for fun, I thought I'm going to write to companies and just tell them that I really like their stuff. And then I started to write silly letters to them, and then I started to write ridiculous letters to them. And so it was great fun. They started to write back, and to my surprise, they got into the spirit of it. And sometimes they wrote back really silly answers, and sometimes they wrote back very sensible answers. And sometimes they sent me stuff, and I got loads of great freebies. And my wife had said to me, "Why don't you take all these ridiculous letters and put them together and send them to a publisher?" And that's what I did, and it ended up getting published to my great surprise.
That's an awesome story. Well, James, thank you for being on the show. People, you can find his comic at girlsinspace.co.uk and the book at sillybeggar.co.uk. James, thanks again for coming on the show.
Problem. Thanks for having me.
Webcomic Show!
He is a webcomic artist living in the lovely state of Florida, a creator of the webcomic Life After Death, and he has started a collaborative project called End of Times. Carlo Ostraut, welcome to the Webcomic Show.
Thank you for having me.
Your comic Life After Death is completely done on an iPad using Autodesk Sketchbook Pro. Are you using some kind of iPad pen or your finger?
No, definitely not my finger. That's a little too difficult. No, I use it's a little bamboo stylus.
Okay. Oh, awesome. So I should try that out.
Oh, it takes a lot of practice, I'll tell you that.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you tried different styluses?
I have tried different ones. There's some that don't take as well because I use the iPad, the new iPad. Mm-hmm. There's some that don't take as well to the screen. So that's the best one I've found was the bamboo one.
Is it one of the most expensive ones?
I think it runs about $20.
Okay.
And then the nubs run out pretty quickly, so you can order nubs pretty cheaply as well.
Awesome. Life After Death has over 350 comics. Are you going to put a book together?
I've considered it. I've considered doing actually chapters of maybe of 50. I know the first chapter runs about 150 pages, and then after that I've gotten to like a storyline kind of mode. But I really think I would probably go into, if I went to that avenue, I would probably take the end storyline that I had started at probably about page, I think 150 around that area, and serialize it from there.
So a book is in the works, you could say.
Yeah, I would say.
So I read in an interview that you were in the military. Did this influence your comic in any way?
Probably not maybe a bit of my humor, just because there's so many diverse people that you're around. You know, you're not confined into like one environment. You understand like just different personalities, I guess, and that really works into when you want to tell a story. Mm-hmm. It's not just one voice; it's just a collective. If that makes sense.
Yeah. What keeps you motivated to make the comic?
My brain won't turn off. That's probably my best motivation about making the comic. There's days where you get home and you're just like, man, I don't want to do that tonight, but that engine keeps going, so you want to put it down on paper.
Awesome. And what other webcomics are you reading lately?
Well, my favorites are probably like I love, like, Dust Piggies is probably like my number one favorite comic. But I read a bunch. I mean, there's so many great ones out there that probably don't get recognition or do get recognition. You got, like, you put me on the spot to name names.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just asking what you're reading lately.
We're reading lately. It's probably like Dust Piggies,
Yeah.
Vinny the Vampire. Oh man, Off Season, Adrastus, Ley Lines. There's just a bunch. I can't think of it right now.
So I see Superman poster behind you. You're a Superman fan?
Huge.
Yeah.
I have a Superman tattoo.
You do?
Yeah, I
Can
do.
we see it?
Oh, geez. Okay.
Awesome. Did it hurt?
No, I have a couple.
Oh, awesome.
It's lifead.thewebcomic.com.
You can view his stuff at life@thewebcomic.com or endoftimesthewebcomic.com. And on Twitter, you can find him at CAOST. Carl, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Webcomic Show!
They do 2 webcomics a week, a podcast. These Canadian boys are totally awesome. It's Brandon and Colin Oliver of Twex.com.
Thanks,
Thank
Daniel.
you for having us again.
So, Colin, you've been abroad lately?
I have. I got back from Italy just a couple weeks ago.
Awesome, and how was that?
Oh, it was fantastic. I love to travel, promote it with anybody. Great food, great scenery. We're on the Amalfi Coast. It was just gorgeous.
What Colin's not really saying here, though, is that he likes to make people envy and loathe him.
I do. It's a pastime.
How do you guys keep motivated doing the comic? Because lately, it's been I've passed the 3-year hump and questioning if I should continue or not. And
oh my God!
How do you guys keep motivated?
It's a trap. It's a trap. So you're absolutely right. You hit this is Colin and I have actually coined this as like it's the 3-year end date. Like it is the time where you will have the most difficulty wanting to keep your comic going.
Not sure what it is about 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either. So my advice is do as much as you can to stay the course. Surround yourself with positivity. Maybe change things up a little bit for yourself, either in the comic or just in terms of what you do off to the side. Like, do whatever it is you need to do to keep it fresh, because otherwise, like this is the time we found that people are just like, man, oh, I don't know if I want to do this comic anymore. It's kind of lame.
Plus, I think if you've kind of built a good place in the community, they will keep you motivated. They will want you to keep going. As fans, they're gonna just not. They'll try not to let you stop.
But you get tired. That's a thing. I mean,
well, talking about tired, Brandon, you've had a new baby. What would you tell yourself before you had the baby? If your future self could tell yourself before you had the baby, what would you tell yourself?
All the advice that everybody's giving you right now isn't going to make a damn difference. You're not going to get. You could sleep for the next week, and it's not going to make a difference. You're not going to store up sleep like a bear storing up food for the winter. It doesn't work that way. Be prepared for the unexpected. All of the unexpecteds. Nothing is going to go according to plan. And get ready to start adjusting for the new normal. That's pretty much it.
You're doing a lot of guest comics now. How long is that still going to run?
We've got about another week and a half, depending on when we've got one more that's coming in.
Have you built a buffer?
Yes. So we've got 3 comics in the buffer. I did not.
Not as many as we'd like, but
nearly as much drawing. But I'm getting.
We had to get strips because we knew we weren't going to be able to build a buffer. That's that. With me being out of the country for a couple of weeks and Brandon, that whole thing.
That was a thing that happened. That sure did happen. We've got the three. I'm going to try and get as many as I can done over the next week and a half, just so that those are going to carry us. And I'm starting to get back into the groove. The other piece of advice I'd have for people, if you are going to have a kid, be prepared to adjust your schedule. If you had specific nights that you like to do things, maybe trim that down to one night, because your significant other is going to want your help.
Yes.
And is not going to want you disappearing on a regular basis. So insert drawing time whenever you can. Figure out a new system. So the bonus for me, I've got a Surface Pro. So I can sit down on the couch, and when we do have alone, we are just sitting there maybe watching a show, I can just draw and get a sketch down. And doing that consistently every night versus trying to hammer out a comic in a solid 3 or 4 hour stint actually works a lot better, so that I can keep ahead of things.
Otherwise, you'll be happy to know, even though we're kind of at that 3 or 4 year mark, we haven't considered stopping even for a second. I mean, even with this, planned interruption.
I just hate you so much. And I wanted to, when you came on the show.
We're going strong. At least I'm going strong. And I'm forcing
done. It's over. Find yourself another artist.
That's okay. I'll just draw for you. I can do a better job.
Okay, guys, thanks for coming on the show. You can find these guys at twex.com, and in the future, I think thebrothersoliver.com is going to hopefully be in the future. Thanks, guys, for coming on the Webcomic Show.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks, Daniel.
Webcomic Show!
Crass Sophisticate is the brand name association for anything that's vulgar and intelligent. Josh Reinwald and Justin Rosenberg of CrassSophisticate.com, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Daniel.
I'm very glad that you guys asked to come on the show. You're probably one of the first people to do that, and anybody that does that will get on the show.
All right.
Nice.
Pioneers. That's great.
So you guys are from Chicago.
Yes.
What's Chicago
Yes, sir.
like?
Born and raised.
Sorry?
Yeah, we're born and raised all our lives, and this is the city we know and the city we live in, and it's a big city, big American city, a lot of big people.
What do people think of when they think of Chicago?
Hot dogs.
The number one thing that I get when you travel, it used to be Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah. Ebert, he died this year.
And now it's you hear Obamacare.
Obamacare.
That's
Obama.
That's what you hear
He's
now.
from here. So, what else? Italian beef.
Yeah, maybe Italian beef, the food. Definitely not crass sophisticate. That's not something that you hear when you travel.
No, you're not going to hear that. It's a small comic, underground comic.
So how did you guys meet?
We're cousins.
Yeah, we're both cousins. We're related. Known each other our whole lives. We didn't really start hanging out, though, until our later teens. And actually what brought us together was a film. Do you remember that film?
The movie Heat.
Yeah, Michael Mann, Heat.
Awesome.
We really loved that film, and nobody else loved it like we did. So, plus I've been hanging out with his brother. His brother is an actor, and I used to write theater, like plays that were really dirty, and I wanted his brother to perform in the plays. So, we all just, we like to write, read, watch film. A lot in common, so...
Media junkies, kind of. That's where it stemmed from.
Yeah, so, and also we love comics, so, but not like the superhero stuff, just the, like Robert Crumb and...
Klaus, Chris Ware. Those are
Renetti,
kind of like our guys.
Did you
He
guys...
introduced me to a lot of those guys. 'Cause he's got more culture than me. That's why, he's sophisticated and I'm more of a crass guy, so... It's a good balance.
Have you ever seen the movie American Splendor?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. What's his name?
Harvey Peacock.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what made me think of you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're blue collar. Like, we got, we're a lot like Harvey. We're blue collared, Yeah, so we definitely dig him. He's a big big hero of ours.
Yeah, the inception of that, actually, the earlier Crass things, it felt more like it was in that vein.
Yeah.
We were a little more grounded in reality, and then after 10 years of doing it, we just started losing our marbles.
Yeah.
And the comics got a little bit more...
It's got more fiction than nonfiction.
Yeah, but we still try to keep it grounded in reality. I mean...
Yeah, you got to keep it grounded in reality, otherwise you lose your reader, and he's like, it's retarded. It doesn't make sense. It's got to make sense to a certain degree, and... yeah, it's I like fantasy stuff, like unicorns and shit, and he thinks that stuff's it's lame, and so he's always trying to interject intellect where I'm trying to let's just go fantasy, let's lose ourselves in fantasy, and it's a good balance. You gotta have a balance. So yeah.
What kind of webcomics do you like?
You know what I really got into? I don't read too many webcomics, but the one I really got into, now they actually made a book out of it, was Dash Shaw. Did, oh God, what was the name? I think Body World or something like that. That one I got really into. And I ended up actually then buying the book when it came out. Other than that... the
Oatmeal.
Yeah, the Oatmeal's really cool. Yeah. I mean, I think everybody kind of digs that one. Yeah, maybe basically those two. I'm still kind of a sucker for physical media. I like to hold the book. I like troll the.
Yeah, when he moved in, he had about 50 boxes of books, and I threw my back out and moving all his books. So he likes the physical. aspect.
Yeah, so I mean, we're trying to get into the web.
Yeah, our brother he runs the site because we can't figure out technology to save our lives. You already saw an example. So my brother's the one that does the technical computer stuff. We just write and draw. And
you guys have a book out, right? You can buy the book.
We have a bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah, we have 30 plus issues.
Yeah, actually, this winter, this is going to be the new one. It's coming out this winter, and it's about a flamboyantly gay man who's really good at baseball, and we help him get drafted to the Chicago Cubs, and they win the World Series finally. So that's coming out this winter, and it's going to be really good.
And it kind of asks the question in this one, everybody loves sports, right?
Yeah.
But they're the most. It's still the most homophobic. It's still the most homophobic thing. Sports, the sports world. If an athlete comes out of the closet, it's a big deal. If a theater major comes out of the closet, nobody really gives a shit. So we don't understand why this thing that's embraced by everybody, they're still homophobic. I mean, Illinois just legalized gay marriage. Finally, they got to start getting with it. The sports nuts got to start realizing that gay people can play sports too, man. Yeah. Just get over it.
It's just funny to see a guy that's totally flamboyant and he's winning, and they're just like, oh man, I can't believe this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it's a funny idea. So that's coming out this winter. So we're excited about that, and we're also going to release an anthology. It's going to be It's going to be. This is 8. It's 8 books. 8 of our books combined into one anthology. So it's like the last 8 issues, and we're going to be releasing that also.
Awesome.
So.
But you have these big, they're huge. Is that the way you create them?
Yeah, I like to draw big, and then I shrink it down, and then, I give it to my brother. He puts it on the web. So he also colors them in. They're black and white, so yeah.
So,
everything that... oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, describe your process of making the comic.
Process? Okay, the process is this. Before I draw it, I'll sit down with him. Maybe we have some beers. Who knows? Probably. And then I usually have an idea. I'm more of I like to structure things. And he likes to talk a lot. He always talks. He never shuts up.
You can get that from the interview.
Some people think that's annoying. I think it's great. I like that he doesn't shut up because it's gold coming out of his mouth. So we sometimes we'll come up with an idea, and then that idea will there'll be from that the idea the flamboyantly gay guy being really good at baseball. Oh, that's a great idea. And then I'll start writing a story, and then he'll be like, oh, it'd be funny. And then he'll pitch me a scene, and then I'll write down the scene, and then it just keeps on going from there, and then eventually you get a whole entire arc of a story, and then like I'll write it's like a script, and then from the script I'll start drawing it on pages, and then do like
I hate to use like the whole like South Park analogy.
It's kind of like South Park, yeah.
But because there's so much, I mean, those guys are obviously brilliant, and we're a bunch of
right.
schlubs. But it does kind of, the way we write does kind of work that way, where it's kind of like a writer's room type of thing between him and me, and then he'll go away and kind of formulate it, and then do the pencils, and then I'll give it another stamp of approval, or say that, don't say that, or he'll be like,
he feeds me dialogue, so he's good with dialogue, and that really helps.
Does he ever do that after you've finished inking?
This is before. Yeah.
Okay, so it's always
the dialogue. Like you got to get the dialogue perfect. He's got great dialogue, I think, and then we get the dialogue, we get it as best we can get, and then sometimes we'll do like a reading. We'll read to like to people we know, and then they'll give their reaction, and then maybe we'll modify it or whatever. Yeah, that's what we do, man. It's
it's the process.
That's the process.
How long does that take?
What's that?
How long does that take?
Oh, a book probably takes like back in the day. I could crank a book out in like 2 months. Now it takes about 6 months for a book, and these books are usually around 40 or 50 pages because it's got to be a complete story. It's got to be a fun, entertaining story where you're satisfied. It's like a movie. You gotta be satisfied. Going back to the movie thing, we like movies. We want to read a book or a story or a comic that's like cinematic.
Yeah, the process that he does is actually kind of weird too, because I've never seen someone who makes comics do this. After when we write it, he formulates it as like a film script.
Well, I went to film school for a while, and I like writing screenplays, so I'll write it like a screenplay. And actually, comic books and movies, like storyboards in movies and comics, are pretty much the same thing anyway. Like a storyboard in a movie, that's a comic book.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to do here. Because I refer to it as a film.
It's super structured. It works really well.
I don't know if it's... I mean, no, we try to make it loose and fun, but it's a lot like a film.
What keeps you motivated to keep on doing it?
The motivation?
Yeah.
This guy never shuts up. So it's like the gold that's coming out of his mouth, it's like, oh, man, that's funny. Oh, man, that's funny. It's the motivation is we make each other laugh.
Yeah.
And that's what... As long as we make each other laugh, we'll keep doing it.
Well, the thing is, too, I mean, I'm more of a fame whore. But it's I mean...
No. He is a fame whore because he smells nice. He dresses nice. He's got a nice shirt. I mean, this shirt's probably, what, $80?
No, dude. No, I'm just saying...
But you want to look good, and you're like, I'm a fancy guy.
I'm a fan...
I got culture. I'm cultured.
I'm a dandy. I dress a dandy.
Well, you're sophisticated.
No, I'm just saying it's nice. I mean, we're both, our day jobs, we both work in like grocery stores, right? And it is like a P-card type of thing because
blue collar.
You get done with that, and then like on the weekend we'll do like we're usually involved with this event called Cake. It's the Chicago alternative.
Yeah, the last 2 years they've been really good to us.
And it's nice that like for a weekend we get to like be very minor, very 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 minor, very minor celebrities. And then you go back to you go back to your day job, and some old lady's yelling at you about like corn on the cob. Yeah. Why are you guys out of it? You know what I mean? So that's what a lot of the motivation for me is too. It's a good release. It's either this or getting on a tower with like a high-powered rifle. I mean, this is a release. This is what you do to like.
It's cathartic.
Yeah, I don't yell at the customers at my job. I go home and this is.
He goes home and he yells at me and talks about his day and.
Yeah.
It's funny.
That's the motivation. I'm sure it's the motivation for everybody that you interviewed as well. It's just, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do with your time? It's either that or watch The Walking Dead on repeat over and over again.
Well, that's a good time too.
That is a good time. But Jesus, man, you need a release. Everyone needs a release, a hobby, something. You got a guitar back there. You got another hobby.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes,
you play guitar?
Definitely.
That's good.
Yes, awesome. Thanks, guys, for the interview. Is there anything you want to plug?
Just the
anthology's coming out this winter, and the book about the flamboyant gay pitcher. It's called Sports with the exclamation point. That's coming out. Look for that. I know that like Christmas time, people tend to buy stuff. So if you want to get a really swell gift, check it out. And the website is pressbiscuit.com.
Awesome, amazing. Thanks, guys, for coming on the show.
Well, thank you, Dan. It's a pleasure.
Daniel, thank you. You got me out of bed this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Webcomic Show!
Six Color Stories is an awesome comic, and here I have Lynn Andrews of that comic. Welcome to the Webcomic Show.
Thank you.
Awesome. You have a new book out, and you can promote it now.
Woo! It is called Cookies and Comics.
Awesome. It's so cute.
Thank you.
And what inspired the cookie?
I just always I like doing comics about little food items, and it was kind of started off with this dark idea of what if a cookie came to life and found out that its purpose in life was to be eaten.
And how much does it cost?
It's $5 US.
Awesome. And people can see it on your website, your current website, but your website now is different from what it's gonna be, right?
Yes. The current website that people can go to, it's not being updated right now due to technical difficulties. But in the next week or two, the new site is going to launch, which is going to be sixcolorstories.com, and that's numeral 6. So right now it's sixcolorstories.thecomicseries.com.
Yeah.
And I believe there's links in the archive or in the blog post or something to the comic store.
Awesome. And you're on Twitter all the time. What's your Twitter account?
6 Color Stories, and that's again numeral 6.
Awesome. So that's the book and the website. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Webcomic Show!
He interviews other webcomic artists and has even interviewed me. He has a funny and cute webcomic called Don't Pick the Flowers that updates Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He is also a very nice and just lovable guy. David Hurley, welcome to the Webcomic Show.
Hello.
Well, let's talk about how the webcomic started.
It is actually, this is my third year and doing Don't Pick the Flowers, but it's only been over this past year that it's been reformatted.
How did it begin? What inspired you to start making a webcomic?
Well, I wanted to be a cartoonist since I was a kid, and I just decided to do it on my own. I just thought, it wasn't that I wasn't following anybody. I knew that webcomics were coming around. I just had it in my head to do it, and I just did it. That's the only answer I can give you. I just decided to do it, and I went for it.
So could you tell me about some of your characters and what inspired you to create those characters?
Well, the main character basically is Suzanne, a little girl. She is 13, a little goth girl. I personally can identify with a lot of the goth subculture, a lot of the black attire, and that was my whole idea. I like things like Tim Burton. A lot of music inspires me. I don't want to rip anybody off, definitely, like with the whole black thing, but it's, I like The Cure, which is one of my favorite bands, and it was something that I grew up wearing a lot of dark clothes and the whole mystery of the whole thing.
So
so I'm not really copying anybody or trying to go in a certain direction. It's just from my own personal past.
Mm-hmm. So that's your main character. Can you describe
that? Is Suzanne, and Vincent is her brother. Vincent's a little odd. There's some things that I'm developing with Vincent at the moment, and I will not go into that. You'll have to read the comic. And the other is Duck as a character. I pick it up. I have no idea as their pet. He's good comedy relief, and he seems to be something that people love. And I was raised on a farm, if that helps. I can remember being a kid. I think that's also another inspiration. I've kind of like a dual thing going there. I always had my own little thing growing up. I come from a very small town. Everybody's the same. And I always was different. I knew that. So that's where the whole goth thing comes in. But the duck part, I think, kind of relates back to when I was a kid. I raised chickens, I raised ducks, and as a kid, when I got into something, I wanted to know everything about it. And so one of my first obsessions was my pets, which would be like chickens and ducks and turkeys and things like that. And I think that's where the whole idea of duck came along.
Awesome. Who's your role model?
Oh, I have many. Who is my role model? Well, like my favorite music, like I say, is probably like The Cure. So I would say Robert Smith. As far as like cartooning, when I was younger, I loved Berkeley Breathed, who did Bloom County. Other role models, I have none. No, so I like Tim Burton a whole lot. So.
You do the comic 3 times a week. How do you keep motivated to keep creating that comic?
Because I want to get better, and I want to delve deeper into their personalities and get better at my artwork and just writing the stories. I just want to keep doing it. I love doing it. It's a challenge, and it's exhausting, but I love doing it.
So I have a question.
I motivate myself. I don't know.
Awesome. That's very good. That's very good. I need motivation from other people to keep on going.
I'm OCD with that kind of stuff. When I have something to do, I do it, and I have to do it, and I'm very must be done.
So I have a question here about what's coming up, but it kind of seems like you don't want to talk about what's coming up. People just have to wait and see.
I don't have a clue. No. What's coming up? Well, like with my comic, it is a web comic, and I'm very happy being a web comic. But I would also like to get my comic into syndication. So what is next? I actually have it right now on Go Comic Sherpa. Hopefully those editors are liking it. They may hate it. I have no idea. But actually, I guess what would be best way to describe it is back in February of this year, I went to the Success in World of Comics seminar, and this was through Bill Kellogg of Tundra Comics, and I was very fortunate to have my portfolio reviewed by Amy Lago of the Washington Post, and she was also Charles Schultz editor. So there was a period with my comic that I kind of got off a little bit and added few too many characters and trying to figure out what the heck I was doing. And after having her review my comic, she brought me back around to my original idea. And she told me she really liked what she saw, which is very encouraging. And that's as far as I'll go with that conversation with Amy Lago. But so with that right there, and also talking with Donna A. Lewis, which I have to mention that woman because I do love her. She does Reply All Comic. She's been very helpful and giving me ideas. Not really ideas, that's the wrong way to put it, but editing ideas on how to develop. And she did that at the very beginning. So basically what's been going on and what will be coming next is, with that, is it's just been I'm in the developing, bringing back around the original idea. And that's really all I can say. So what's next? Hopefully somebody will say, hey, that's a great comic. I know we do web comics, but I think each and every one of us deep down, there's probably a bunch of people who hate me after this. But I would like to be syndicated, even though syndication is a dying little world until newspapers figure out what the heck they're doing. Unless somebody wants to buy all kinds of my stuff, and then...
What can people buy of yours? Do you have books? Do you have T-shirts?
Well, if you go to my little website, there's a little Cafe Press site, which sucks because I probably make $1 off of everything. So if you're spending $15 or $20 on something, I'm getting $1 out of that. So buy about 1,000 shirts. That's another thing we can say looking forward to and what is next is developing the side of how to market myself where people will want to buy my product. Because since February and starting all over, that means I've cut up a lot of comics I've done over the last 3 years. So that's not a lot of product for people to see. So basically, we're getting there. I have a day job.
What
So.
what kind of products can I buy? If I don't look at your website, you're just telling me now what can I buy on your website?
That will probably a future goal is getting products out there.
Oh, you don't have anything on the site yet. It's only T-shirts.
Oh no, yeah, only 2 T-shirts.
Oh, okay. You don't have a book yet.
Oh heck no, if I had lots of money and meaning independently wealthy, then I wouldn't have to work,
Okay.
and then I would design more things.
Awesome.
But I have to eat. Dang it.
What's the latest comic you've been reading?
Are you asking what my favorite comic is?
Yeah, your favorite comic. Sorry. Yeah.
That is awful because I don't want to piss anybody because I love all your comics if you're a webcomic reader. But I will say some of my very favorites, and they're not just webcomics. I will say Zombie Boy by Mark Stoke is one of my very favorites. Why is that? Because it's awesome. I just think he's got a great imagination and he can take something so little and make it good. My other favorite comics, I really like Dark Side of the Horse, which is in syndication and is not a webcomic. I also like Heavenly Creatures, which is in syndication by Dana Simpson. And 100 others. I can't really think at the moment. Because I read so many comics every day. I read 3,000 comics a day. I love each and every one of your comics.
Okay, so now
And yours, Daniels. I love your comic.
Awesome.
Goober and Cindy, top notch, right there.
Awesome.
You are number one.
Well, David, thanks for coming on the Webcomic Show. People can find you at don'tpicktheflowers.com. And that's it. Can they find you on Twitter, Facebook?
You can find me on Twitter, David Hurley on Twitter. You can find me on Tumblr, Don't Pick the Flowers. You can find me on Google Plus, David Hurley. You can find me on Facebook and the web FB page, Don't Pick the Flowers. There's some others out there, too many to mention.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on the Webcomic Show.
Thank you for having me.
Webcomic Show!
The Christmas question. I'm asking all my guests the same Christmas question. What was your favorite Christmas present?
Okay. Yeah, I had to think about it because nowadays I don't get any Christmas presents because my boyfriend and I always buy a board game. Yeah, really geeky. So but that's not really a present given by anyone. And the only present I remember from childhood was, I think I was about 6 years old, and that was a doll of Princess Shiva. And I don't think anybody knows it anymore, but I guess it was the sister of He-Man or something. And yeah, there was a series about her, and you could buy lots of toys, a castle, and a flying horse. And yeah, she was kind of a female hero with she had wings. She could make wings, and I don't know. Yeah.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't have it. It was all the attic, and yeah, it got all dirty and sticky and not usable anymore. But I loved it. The package was standing beneath the tree for about a week or so. We don't do it when it's Christmas. We just put it there when we have it, and then it's standing there. And I saw the package, and I knew, oh, it must be her. And I was so excited, and I still remember it. And I was so relieved that it was her when I opened the packet.
Awesome. What's on your Christmas list for this year?
A Syntec HD big. Now, what I said, we don't buy Christmas presents, so just a nice new board game, and then I'm happy, and just play all Christmas long, and I'm happy.
My favorite Christmas present. When I was young, I was a huge fan of the A-Team, and I was delighted one year when I went downstairs and there was the A-Team van with Hannibal, B.A., Face, and Murdoch all sitting in there waiting for me, and that thing got played with every day for months. I loved it.
And what is on your Christmas list for this year?
Ooh, for this year, mostly books. I love getting graphic novels and comics, as you might expect, and I'm hoping to get the Walking Dead compendium and oh crikey, what else is there? I think the latest Hack Slash omnibus, and yeah, loads of great comics.
And now for the Christmas question on the Webcomic Show. I'm asking all my guests the same Christmas question. What was your favorite Christmas present growing up?
The imaginary one or the one I actually got?
Both.
Oh, jeez. Okay, the imaginary one was my brother told me that Luke Skywalker was coming to my house with a land speeder, and so for about 12 hours that night, that was my favorite present ever. And of course, that never showed up. So my favorite one ever is probably the original Star Wars figures that I got back in the 70s.
Awesome. Did you have that packaging as well?
I don't remember having the packaging, but I know I have the figures. I don't really remember if they're the actual figure, like the mail-off ones. I know I got Boba Fett mail-off, but and I believe the Emperor mail-off, like that. But that was later on. But yeah, I don't remember if I had the original packaging as well.
And you still have them?
Yeah, I still have them.
Okay, awesome. What's on your Christmas list this year?
I don't get Christmas presents.
Oh.
Because I'm married and 41. Everything's for the lawn or my wife.
But what is on your wish list?
My wish list? A lotto ticket that wins.
The Christmas question on the Webcomic Show.
All right.
For both of you, what was your favorite present as a child?
Ooh.
I'm going to have to say... Did we get the N64 for Christmas?
I think so. I was actually going to go earlier than that, say the original NES that we got.
I know, but there's just... in terms of the usefulness, in terms of the just having people over and playing it, I really have to say the N64 for me personally. I mean, 007, yes, yeah, we did. We got that with 007. That's right, and it was glorious.
Video games.
Yay!
Yep.
And what's on your current wish list?
Wow, times have changed. I want a milk frother.
And times have not changed for me. There is well, it's not going to be out in time for Christmas, but there is an $800 Ultimetal Optimus Prime that is coming out.
Oh, I saw that. That was awesome. I'm going to put a picture now on the screen.
Yeah. 17 inches of metal and moving parts and lights and sounds. And a lot of people are like, oh, but it doesn't transform and you're paying $800. I don't care. It's a full Optimus Prime, fully articulated. It comes apart. You can see the inner workings. That I don't think I'll get it. I don't think I'll get it. But that, if anybody's looking for a stocking stuffer for me, you want to send me something.
And one last question. What's it going to be like at Christmas at your house this year? For both of you, or are you together?
It's going to be crazy, I think.
We generally try and do at least part of Christmas as a whole family, so I'm hoping we can still pull that off.
Oh yeah, no, it'll be the new normal. We'll have a crying, occasionally squeaking child in the background. It'll be great.
Oh wow! I know what mine were.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, mine actually I wrote about this in the comic book. Mine was. Yeah, the Legos. I got the
Legos.
The Knights of the Round Legos, like the Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I saw it, I was so excited. I opened it up, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to create an adventure. And then I saw how small they were and how tedious of a task it was to put them together, that I stopped doing it because the TV show Small Wonder was starting, and I would rather watch that. So it was a letdown. But at the moment, I was like, Legos.
Yeah, mine was I think I was 5, and I got a toy ray gun, and the end of the gun it would light up, and I'd walk around, I'd run around the house thinking I was like
Trying to shoot
Luke Skywalker or whatever. Or no, Han Solo. Luke Skywalker doesn't have a gun.
Unbelievable! I can't believe he made
He's got a lightsaber. But Han Solo had a gun. He was cooler. So that's my toy that I liked.
And you shot first.
Oh, come on, Han Solo! Jesus Christ! I mean, it's retarded. Like come on, dude. Like, I'm glad he sold away his rights to that thing because he, it's like okay, like the thing is this. Some people have like one great story to tell, and Lucas did that, and then like he lamented over it for 30 years or whatever since the first film, and he just toyed with it and played with it because he knew that was his baby. That's all he was good for.
You should have gotten started on Star Wars, dude.
All right, yeah,
I'll stop him. Okay, the next question is, what's on your Christmas list now?
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, last year I got the complete like Beatles vinyl box set.
It's big vinyl,
which was like pretty cool. It's like $400 and it's like as heavy as a sofa. I don't know if I can lug that kind of stuff around. I don't know. Like the nerd in me says I want a PS4, but I should probably not get anything and use any money my parents might give me to pay some bills. That would be the adult thing to do.
All I care about is like being invited to like a fancy place that has good food, or like drinking good beer.
It's the Christmas question on the Webcomic Show. So the Christmas question is, what was your favorite present when you were a child?
Oh my gosh. I don't remember. I guess I remember when I was really little, my parents surprised my brother and I and bought us both like houses or whatever. So I had the Barbie house, and they had spent the whole night putting it together, and so we got to play with that. And I remember being really excited about that. And I just remember also that it was the worst thing to try to put together because if I ever took it apart, they had to spend at least a day trying to put it back together.
And what is on your Christmas list this year?
Probably some video games. I would love to get a 3DS. I don't have one, and everyone's playing Animal Crossing and Pokemon and feeling a little left out.
Is Animal Crossing only for the 3DS then?
The most recent one that came out.
Okay.
I mean, you have all the older versions, but this newer one, they've added a lot of different things, and you can be the mayor.
I heard a lot about that. A lot of people are really excited about that.
I think it came out in June.
And what is the last question? What is Christmas like at your house?
It varies from year to year. We normally have a Christmas lamp because we haven't been able to have a Christmas tree. So I decorate a Christmas lamp, all the ornaments and garland and everything. My family every year likes to do a talent show and gift exchange.
Awesome.
So yeah, we get together and people sing or read books or whatever, and then we have the stealing of gifts.
Oh, that you had to do that? That's awesome. Did you have also bad gifts and good gifts and bad gifts?
Sometimes. Most of the time, people try to make. We used to do it where it's like, oh, just bring something from your house you don't want.
Yeah.
But they kind of started like, okay, spend $5 and bring something, and a lot of times it turns into a lot of coffee gift cards like Starbucks or Dutch Brothers or something. So.
And that's what you want, right? Exactly. So now for the Christmas questions of the Webcomic Show.
Is this music going to be playing?
It's going to be playing. And
okay.
It's even going to have you saying, is this music going to be playing?
I've got my Santa hat.
What? Oh, yeah, but you did bring something for us to see.
Oh, just because the only Christmas thing I could find, digging through things. Who wants to go through Christmas stuff? It's too early, people. But I guess it's December now. So, Merry Christmas from Jack Skellington. That's the only thing I can find because he's got a little Santa hat.
Awesome. And a long beard.
And a long beard. But that's it.
So for the question, what was your favorite question? What was your favorite present when you grew up as a kid?
Oh, boy. Maybe I answered this earlier. I'm not sure, but I have many obsessions, and when I get stuck on something, and as a kid I would really get stuck on things. My favorite thing, probably something of Star Wars, because I really was really huge into Star Wars as a kid. And I got into Smurfs really big. What was my favorite? Everybody's going to hate me on the webcomic show. I got into Duran Duran as a kid. Sorry, people. And that was a big obsession of mine. I don't know. What was my very favorite? My teddy bear that I stole from my sister because it was on my trunk. Dang it.
And what is on your Christmas list for this year?
Buy me things. Let's see. What would I like for Christmas? Are you asking what I like for Christmas?
What would be on your list? What would you like to get this Christmas from Santa Claus?
A million things because I'm poor, people. I would like a bazillion CDs. I guess all MP3s now, but I want CDs. I don't know. There's a lot of books I want to get, movies. What is the one thing I would like for Christmas? I have no idea.
Awesome. Okay, and what's Christmas like for you this year?
I'll probably go spend time with my family. That's what it will be like.
Awesome. They got the Christmas tree up and the turkey on the table, or?
Yeah. Yeah, we're a few years ago my dad passed away, so we don't do as big of things. We buy for the little ones. My sister's kids, and actually my niece has kids now. I'm getting older, dang it. And I will probably I may put up a cheesy little tree this year. I did last year. I like cure stuff, rare cure stuff. Give me that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I like it when you give presents to little children because you re-experience when you got a present when you were a child.
Yeah. 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 We just sit there and drink coffee and eat biscotti is what we do. The rest of us.
Biscotti? What's that?
Biscotti, a little hard, and play cards. And
awesome.
Actually, that's a joke. Me and my sister do that sometimes.
So that was the end of the webcomic show. Please comment below on what you thought of this show, and you can check out more comics at gooberandcindy.com. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can be updated next time when the new show comes out. I want to thank you guys again for watching the show, and it really means a lot to me. And see you next time.
Webcomic Show!